If my computer starts buzzing a lot, I might get more muffled, so let me know.
I'll keep you posted.
Did you already finish midterms, or are they continuous for you as well? They just keep going.
I mean, we didn't really have like midterms, I don't think. Like I don't know. We just have like projects that are due.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I have a lot of
That's
work
kind of
this
what I'm asking
weekend,
about.
I can tell you that.
But that's kind of what I was asking about. Like we usually our projects just carry on for a while around midterms usually.
Yeah.
Get heavier.
I felt like my midterm week like wasn't that bad, but this week is bad. Plus Halloween, so it's like.
My last week was super dense. We were testing a rig, and they had me up from like right after class to like 9 p.m. at night.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Like 3 days. I was at the major and minors fair representing our department. They had the cutest cupcakes.
Aw.
I should share a picture. It's actually really cute.
You should.
Yeah, well. But it was really cool to see like all the people who are interested in different majors going around, getting to know what was going on. Here are some cupcakes that were at the majors and minors fair. I'm sharing them in the voice text right now. Just uploading. There they are. Look how cute. I don't know what department did them though. They're right underneath us.
Nyani's here. No way.
Oh my gosh, I'm honored.
Yeah, wow, they did have cute cupcakes. That's fun.
Right. I had the pumpkin one. I liked it. They basically, I think it's kind of clever. They use the pretzel to impale into the cupcake, so that way the icing was standing up and it wouldn't fall off. Ooh, good luck with your full character turnaround.
Yeah, yikes. Yeah, good luck.
Take shortcuts, cheat.
Yeah, use
Auto coloring system.
Flip shit horizontally.
This is the last automatic system that artists need is something that will ink a sketch for you in different styles. That's probably already halfway done.
Truly shattering speed records.
Yeah, because you can just make a sketch, and if you had something that would automatically ink things for you, there are things that will automatically color them already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just paint over.
True. I mean, if you really wanted, you could like take a 3D model and you could do what they're called like grease pencil, and you could just like ink your 3D model.
Yeah, shaders will do that.
Yeah. we're probably gonna get started at like 6:05. That's usual concept art club starting time. 5 minutes after. So for everyone who's just chilling. Did
Yeah,
I
I was
see
about to
that?
say.
I did actually see. So yeah, Yanni, I'll go and run Deepstone. So true.
What is Deepstone?
It's a Destiny thing.
Okay.
uh,
Yes, you should Photoshop the screenshots of characters. Just find like a base model that you could draw over a model or rig. 6 headshots. Make sure to stay on character, I guess. Don't rush it too fast. Ooh. I'm gonna save that resource. That sounds fun. At that rate, you just learn ZBrush, make a 3D model, and then screenshot. Actually, I never used Clip Studio Paint.
I'm probably gonna like migrate over to Clip Studio. Like I'm still like Procreate, but I don't know. I think when I graduate and I have a place, when I switch over to a Wacom or a Huion or whatever, I think I'm just gonna go straight to Clip Studio.
Honestly, I haven't even used Procreate. I'm a creative person. Got great 2D animation timeline.
Wait, what did you say?
I have not used Procreate or Clip Studio. I use Krita. I don't know,
Oh,
Krita.
Critta Paint. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
People pronounce it differently. But different drawing software have like majorly different advantages.
See, where you're wrong is the phrasing "buy Clip Studio." Very big quotes around "buy any kind of software." Okay, I'm gonna hit one
What?
last announcement that we're starting soon.
I'm just letting you guys know my mic yesterday broke, so if there's audio issues, let me know and I'll try to fix that. Okay, I think it's about time to get started.
Yeah, 100%. You got this,
Yeah.
Dasha.
Let's go. Okay, it's my first time presenting here. This is my specialty, using 3D inside your work. And my goal today is simply to encourage you to try out 3D for yourself. I know it can be very scary and just new to a lot of people, so I've created just the first half of it is a very simple introduction to implementing 3D, and then I have a little bit more technical stuff after the end. So, why should we use 3D? It's a wonderful shortcut to doing a lot of calculation. You learn how to do your grids and whatnot, how to make sure everything stays in proportion, and sometimes you spend a lot of time recalculating over and over again. But in 3D, you automatically already have everything calculated for you, so you can even just block something out, trace over that, use that as your base. Other things you can do is like automatically change your entire environment. So you're like, oh no, I placed this couch way too close to this lamp. Now I have to redraw everything, recalculate. No, in 3D you can just take the couch, move it over, move whatever else you want to, and then have that automatically done. I was reading a couple articles about the ways that people use 3D in their workflows. One of my favorite ones is somebody who talked about how uh, they need a specific model of a car and they just found it online and then were able to draw over that. And because it's the same car model, uh, their the work that they created would have been no different if they had just used a photo reference to make an accurate illustration. Other reasons to use 3D, you can create a lot of angles at the same time of a character. So if you have like a model that you're using as a base for a character, just to like move them or compose them, you can get your rotations for your professors out really very quickly. You can cut down on environment time by having everything already in perspective for you. And you can cut down a lot on lighting and getting your lights set up in a way that's accurate to the environment which you are trying to light, because it's something that's not studied enough, I think, is just how light affects each other. And using 3D will give you a great way to take shortcuts in lighting your environment and figuring out how shadows fall into different things. We have a lot of very accessible software to us as just SCAD students and people who are really interested in 3D in general. Um, Here are just a bunch that I've listed that are available to you right now. Do you have different uses? And I've since I spent a lot of time in Monty, I kind of noted which majors I see using them the most. If you're absolutely new to 3D and you're just trying to get started, I recommend looking into Maya, Blender, and SketchUp, because SketchUp has just a large warehouse of a bunch of different types of models, and you could try taking those, pulling them into their online software, and just moving it around. It's very simple, straightforward. I recommend Maya because it's kind of the base uh, for a lot of the stuff that people work with across SCAD. And I recommend Blender because it's got a ginormous open community of just endless resources. And if you're really trying to get started to learn a software, um, or anything in general, like in concept art, we share videos all the time. Tutorials are the way to learn things. You've got to look things up and not only watch something, but and learn the techniques, but try applying them yourself, and learn them in your own way so that you know how to recreate those techniques later on. If you're already familiar with Unreal, or if you're in the IGGM department, I really recommend playing with Houdini as well, because they have like a similar way of working together. ZBrush is fantastic for creating models of your characters. A lot of the drawing tablet computers at Montgomery Hall have them on there. And if you'd like, it's actually very easy to get a license for ZBrush as a SCAD student. If you just use your SCAD student email, you get not only access to ZBrush, but Cinema 4D as well. I included on here. It's used by the motion media department the most, but it also has like very simple 3D. Honestly, it's like Maya in a way. You can make very simple shapes and lay out your composition, and yet do some other fun stuff with it. So if you want, you could just get the license for for ZBrush and CAD together. Substance Painter is very, very cool. You can get models offline or just create a cube, anything, and you can draw on top of it. If you had a cylinder, you could texture a barrel as a fantastic study just on combining concept art development and 3D. When you're working in a 3D space, usually the things that you see are without a texture visible. And the reason I have this slide here is to specifically highlight that the word rendering means something different in a 3D space versus a 2D space. When you're rendering something after working in 3D, you're usually putting it through a different type of software that will put on the textures and the colors and the patterns onto your general shapes, which you can see in the viewport as you edit your environment. The general workflow for somebody who'd be working in 3D, you'd ideate, create your sketches for your environments, find which one you like the most, open up a software. This one's using Maya at the top, for example. Block out everything. Then you push it through your renderer, which is usually Arnold. It's just available already with Maya if you get it downloaded. And then after you're done, you have it rendered, you have your lighting set up. Then you pull it into Photoshop and you would draw over it, add special details that you really can do a lot faster in just the 2D form. This piece is mostly 3D, and I found this video where the artist goes through their process. As you can see, these are textureless, kind of plain. They're just setting up the space. Then they add a light. They add color to their environment. You can composite in a background yourself just by drawing it or pasting it in the background in Photoshop. And really what they did was just take these models of buildings that they probably found online or made themselves, but at our level we probably find them ourselves. Take some spheres, colored them green, and then did a bunch of other stuff. But really, if we just had the base, I know a lot of you guys could just draw in the textures. But the textures usually come with models, and you can put them on. This is a repeating texture. Further down the line, they just draw over it to remove it. I noticed a really interesting thing there where they took a photo of this guy and put it in the background. They went over it with a brush to add that painterly effect on top. The person in the foreground used to be a 3D model, but they took him out and put in a 2D figure, and it's to scale and everything because the way that they were working from the beginning was very aware of the space that they were creating. But this person's workflow, the fact that they were working in 3D, cut down a lot of time that it would have taken to figure out just the atmospheric perspective, the ways that the lights fall on all of these objects. It basically happened automatically for them because they just pulled in these models and worked on their environment 3D. And then they pulled it into 2D, added these added the little details, more vines perhaps, the birds, they worked on the clouds, and just added finishing touches. They also drew in the characters over there. But 3D is complicated. It's terrifying. It's brand new. I've got you. Let's keep this simple. And the only things you need to do, the only things you need to learn are how to make an object, how to light it, and how to render it. In the following slides, I'll show you how to approach these steps in Maya. And I will also make this PowerPoint available for access after I'm done with this presentation so that you can just learn how to light it and render it. So when you open up Maya, all you need to do is make an object right here, light it, you go up and create a sky. If you notice, the cube, when it was created, appeared in the outliner. The outliner basically works like the layers in Photoshop do. You can group things together and move them around. The reason you need a light is because you can't see an object if there is no light shining on it. If we put a box in a void without shining a light on the box in the void, we would never see the box in the void. So honestly, if you wanted to, you could potentially just skip the lighting step and take a screenshot of your box to get your layout. But the reason you want the light is so that you can render it or open it in the renderer and actually take a look at your lit cube. But to get shadows on the ground, you just create a plane right underneath it. You can move it down. 3D, you just like any other software where you open up Photoshop, Procreate, GIMP, Krita, you'll learn how to navigate it within 10 minutes. So, as in, like, rotate it, adjust it. So, if you open up Maya, literally all you need to do is learn how to, like, beyond moving around the screen, is how to create something, how to add a light to it so it casts shadows, and then how to look at it. That's it. From there, you could do things like add more shapes, you can add colors, you can add more complicated lighting. Then you could add textures, things like that. But once you learn how to just create an object, light an object, and look at it in the renderer, you have enough set up to create a 3D environment for yourself or just a 3D composition that you can use further down your line. So I'm encouraging you, one more time, you only really need to learn how to make an object, light it, and render it. It's that simple. So is it complicated? No. Is it new? Not as much. Again, everything is the same across software. And is it scary? I hope this not as much. My goal here again was to encourage you to literally just try it out. All of the 3D software are essentially the same. The fundamentals of each one is like being able to create a rectangle in Illustrator, Photoshop, or almost any other software. They all have a way to create a rectangle. The 3D software all have a way to create a box. So really, research, just look things up. The research here is done for you. I've told you, all you need to do is create a box, light it, and then look at it. Then you can apply that knowledge, so just try it out at some point. That's all you need to do. And then have fun. From there, you can create any composition you desire. You can take a bunch of tubes and lay them out like tree branches. You could draw your character on top of that, just even screenshotting it. You don't have to even know how to model or how to texture, how to apply colors, because a lot of the stuff is available for free online. A lot of these underlined things in my presentation are actually links to the sites. So once you get access to this presentation, I think I have a PDF downloaded. I'll try to share it. Hopefully the links work. Also, these are the names of the sites. If you want, you can try looking them up. They have free models on there. All you need to do is download them, import them into your software of choice. Usually an FBX or an OBJ will be just fine. And then move around the object, composition it as you'd like. Then you can take a screenshot and draw over it. For example, here I could put a little character sitting at the top of the tower. These are actually just, I didn't even import these into software. These were previews on the types of models that were available online. But think about it. Just looking at these models, who can you picture living here? What else could you add here? Could you add some trees or some vines? As a concept artist, just even looking at these like available models for you can spark your imagination. And this is kind of the end of my tutorial. I really recommend just go online, even not creating an object. You, instead of creating like a box, you could just import one of these models online. And my goal has so far been just to encourage you to try this out. Beyond here, I'm going to be talking about a slightly more complicated and just like technical elements of the production. This is photogrammetry. I think it's incredibly amazing. It's when they take, if you recognize this was like 2 slides ago, there are people out there who will 3D scan objects and then create models out of that. So you can take an actual place and download it and angle it and look at it from different directions. I've heard the recommendation that you can go on Google Maps and go anywhere you want in the world and just draw that location. But what if you could rotate around that location? What if you could adjust the way that you're like the light falls on that location compared to the way it does on Google Maps? You could take actual fruits and actual objects. As artists, when we are painting, let's say, a stuffed animal, when we finish our painting, we don't go around saying that we created that stuffed animal. We say that we created that painting. So it's completely okay to go online and find these objects and draw them yourself or draw over them. You can create a composition of a bowl of apples in the background, for example. I couldn't share this really cool technology without mentioning that one of my professors had her own face scanned, and everybody in my department wants this model, but nobody has access to it. I really, really super extra recommend checking out globalheritage.org. I found them as I was researching for this presentation. They're the ones that scanned this mosque. They have Roman buildings. They have ancient artifacts. They're basically like a historic preservation society in a way, where they're taking actual extremely important objects, locations, places, and creating these 3D models for you. And because they're actual places, you can draw them, and you can use that artwork as reference in your own illustrations. And also, again, I didn't even pull this into a 3D software. I just went on there, looked at the models, and screenshotted this. So you can go in and just like rotate around, and you already have something that will cut down on all the time you have to make sure that this is symmetrical, like the archway even. You don't have to learn everything in a 3D workflow. You don't have to learn how to texture. You don't have to learn how to rig. You don't have to learn how to UV, how to do all of these steps in a process. You really just can use it as a tool. You can just take models offline. You can just use other people's work. Like if you're working on a team of people, like on a video game, you can take their objects and use it in your own art. If you do learn how to model, the works that you create or use in the background of your art that are liked by your studio can be used by the studio in their final products. So it's purely an advantage. And I found this really cool. I learned this last week that you can take actual 3D models and merge them together. You can take a car and put like bunny ears on it with fur, and it's a thing you can do. Not only a 2D space, but a 3D one. If you already know how to do 3D, or if you feel like, okay, where do I go after I can do all these things? Just learn how to color or apply textures in a more complicated way. You have your black and white, then you put on the color. You can put on a texture, so you can make like a specific pattern, scratches. If you have a very specific like pattern on your character's like face, you can learn how to texture that in like Adobe Substance Painter on top of your character directly. And the shaders, I love shaders. I play around with them for fun. They give you qualities to your object. Like subsurface can be literally applied onto an object. You can put literal skin on a thing. You can put an orange peel like around like a sphere. And this is one of my works that I did for class, for example, of shaders that were just, I got this pod, it's got a really subtle texture on it. These leaves have sheen on it where the spaces are like fuzzier versus not fuzzy. And these two models I modeled myself. So this one was available to me just for free because our professor obtained it offline. So this is an example of just like, you don't have to know exactly how to do something to be able to create something that's beautiful. So I encourage you to try it out. It doesn't have to be very complicated. I also would like to highlight the fact that we have the tutoring service here at SCAD. In my freshman year, I was terrified of Maya, just like anyone else. So I signed up for a tutoring session with somebody from, like, I think the animation department who already had a lot of experience in Maya. And I basically asked them to walk me through and just let me know the software. They showed me just that it was not as terrifying as I thought. I just had to know where to go and keep things simple and straightforward. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm really happy to answer them. I really want you guys to try this out if you don't have any experience. So thank you so much for coming to my presentation. I know Heyman's Halloween is going on, so I don't want you to miss out a lot on it. They're going until 9:30. Stop by the concept art table. And I hope you have learned something or feel more encouraged to try things out yourself. I'm
I'm
checking.
muted. I said yas. Let's go, Dasha. Woo! Round of
Okay,
applause.
thanks.
Yes. This is also a Day V meeting, guys. This is the first time, so slay. Double slay.
Thank you, Will. I appreciate it. I'm looking at the voice text. I have it open on my phone. I don't want to switch out of my slides. I can always go back to one if you want. Again, photogrammetry is amazing. This is like a high-res model. It's just available. It's right there. You can download it or look around it. You can zoom in and out. I really just, once you learn how to navigate, like move around inside of a software, you can carry any angles you want. It's amazing. But yeah, I don't, if you really want to go, I know this happens a lot, you are free to leave. Just, you know. Yeah, actually, I'll go back to the software slide just so you know, like,
And Blender's free too. There's a few free ones.
Yeah, ZBrush, it's free for students. Well, you just not free. Sorry. I'd just like to point out which software I recommend taking a look at right now. For free stuff, I recommend SketchUp. Houdini is actually free. I know a lot of people talk about it being a very complicated or scary or terrifying program, but they have a free version. You can just learn how to do like these really complicated like art pieces if you want. I always thought Houdini cost a lot of money because I remember researching and being like, oh my god, how do people afford this? But they have a free version, so you can do it like as a student, not even as a student. Unreal is amazing. It's like super extra free, and you can do a lot of really complicated things in it. Also, I mean, actually, you can do a lot of complicated things in all these, but I think it's fantastic because it's being used in our industry is looking really hard on Unreal right now for the free stuff it provides. Again, so Blender, Unreal, I recommend looking at Houdini. ZBrush, it's like learn it, but don't get too attached because it costs a lot once you're out of college. Substance Painter, if you have Adobe, you have Adobe Substance Painter. They have some models inside of the software that are just available. It works just like Photoshop. A lot of these you can really much equate to the drawing software that you use. Like they have layers. You can put gold streaks in like one layer for Painter. It's really cool. These are full different levels too. So again, I mentioned in the beginning, if you want to start up, do. If you know absolutely nothing, try SketchUp. If you know a little bit, go to Maya and Blender. If you know enough, jump to Houdini.
I think my Steam thing shows that I have like an hour or something in Blender, and all it is like me opening up Blender, looking at the cube, like stretching it a little, and then being like, I can't do this.
That's why you follow tutorials. You really should follow tutorials. That's how you learn anything.
I suck at tutorials, dude. I
have a tutorial for you.
I know you have a tutorial. I'm so
I have a tutorial for you guys. There it is. How to make a cube. You look at it, bam, and you can create a bunch of stuff. Good environment. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing so that I can figure out how to share this PowerPoint with you guys. If I want to see if the PDFs links work. Oh, are people sharing tutorials? That's great. Yes. Again, you guys are free to go.